Hi, this is a foreigner in the Philippines, and following that plan of action that I suggested for coming out to the Philippines, perhaps a little follow-up for that would be on how to have a relationship with a younger woman. And this seems to be a challenging part for older men. Now, you would think that older men would be so delighted to have a lovely young woman. Certainly that's the case in the Philippines, that you can come and you can meet and marry a younger woman. Now, the pros and cons of what that marriage is all about is a whole subject in itself, because it depends very much on your viewpoint. Now, if you're of the viewpoint slightly, say, cynical, or if you are cynical, then you'll be thinking of yourself as being practical and realistic, and maybe you are. But what we're really looking at, I feel, and it's just my opinion, as all of these videos are, okay? Now, my opinion is that when an older man marries a younger woman, he probably has a younger mindset than perhaps other people who fortunately for them, have grown old with the same woman. And they met when they were probably in their late teens or early 20s, and they fell in love, they committed to each other, they got married, they had children, had a house. All of those things which are associated with having a good marriage all happened. And then, fortunate for them, they grow old together. And this has many, many good things about it, because you gradually get used to how your partner looks, in the same way that you hopefully gradually get used to how you look. And that's that can be a bitter pill to swallow. Because many of the men, many of the women, were rather beautiful and rather handsome when they were in their younger days. But not everybody grows old to become still handsome. And that's often a big thing in the life of someone who, say, in our case now, comes to the Philippines. Now, if you're coming to the Philippines and you're going to meet a partner, if you haven't already met someone, now if you've met someone, then probably, I'm going to take a guess and say that you probably met someone who is anything from 15 to 25 or 30 years younger than you are. Now, in my own case, I met someone who was far too young for me on my first thinking about it. I just couldn't see how it could work. Because with a great, great age difference, there are many things to consider. Now, one of the things that I did learn from, a book that I learned greatly from, and I've mentioned it before, that was a book by Barbara DeAngelis. I don't get commission on these books, by the way, but she wrote a book called Are You the One for Me? And she dealt with all the aspects of having a relationship. And one of those aspects that she had, that she focused on, was what I think she called the spring and winter. Now, I take it that the man was in the winter and the girl or the woman was in the spring of her life. Now, when you get married and you commit to someone, and all of my videos are all family oriented. I'm not out here trying to educate or change men who have a much different mindset to me. Whenever I thought about having a partner, I thought about having a partner that I was committed to, that I would be faithful and loyal to, that I would tell the truth to, and that I would be open and share with. That was the relationship that I had in mind, and I hoped for a woman who would be the same with me. I've had many catastrophes in my life, more than more than possibly my share, along with more than my share of great times and a lot of fun that was almost too good to be legal. Not that I ever did anything legal, heavens above. Well, one of the things that I needed to stipulate when I met my wife, Beth, was, and I told her this right at the front, at the very first exchange of ideas, I said, look, I am possibly a boring old guy to you because I don't drink, I don't smoke, and I don't do drugs. Nor have I ever done any of that. I had other goals in life that made it impossible for me to be a drinker. I wanted to be a fine musician. And the fine musicians that I used to see who were heavily involved with drink quickly became less than fine as the night wore on, even though in their mind they became wonderful because they lost their inhibitions and loosened up and got a bit of a buzz on, and you know, all of those cool buzz phrases. Well, I didn't find that because I found myself fumbling and trying to think, and I couldn't think when I'd had a lot to drink. So I quit all of that. Not that I was ever greatly interested in it anyway, because it made me sick. So, and boring. Never did drugs because it's a mind-altering thing, and I'm trying to alter my own mind, thank you very much. So I didn't do any of that. I never took a cigarette, and like the president, or the former President Clinton, didn't inhale. Oh, well, I took a drag, but I didn't inhale. I just blew it straight out of my mouth. Yeah, okay, right. We believe you, Bill. Anyway, so I established that right up the front. And we both said, we'd like to meet, but it's not likely to work. Beth is 27, and until she allows me to reveal my age, I'm going to let you guys who are passionately involved in guessing my age, guess away. So I'm not 27. She's 26, 27, and I'm not. So there's a great deal of difference in viewpoint, and the difference in viewpoint involves one very big factor, and that is patience and tolerance on both our sides. Now let's assume, as I said, that this is a family-oriented situation. We've tried to find out if we are honest, loyal, and true. That was my requirement. I want someone who is honest, loyal, and true. I can't say that enough. Beth, can you be honest, loyal, and true? Now, we also went over all of the math. Now, when anybody sees Beth and I, and they see me an old fart, and they see her a young, beautiful girl, and they do the math, and I can see the math going around. In fact, I think on my more perceptive days, I can hear the brain clanking around like Victorian cast iron machinery. He's going to die when you're only this, or you're going to be this when he's only that, and all of that. If you're focused on that, well, then that's good for you, yes. I wish I... Now, we did do all of that up front. And unlike most Western women and Western men, the one main concern that Beth had was she didn't want to be left alone. And often that's one of the things that she says to me, don't leave me. Now, is she talking about me walking out the door and running off with another woman? No, she's not. She's talking about me leaving. It's something that has to be faced, but it's not written in stone, because nobody knows when they're leaving. That kind of leaving. Nobody. My brother he was my younger brother, Nev. Now, he was so tough that he was my big brother. He died in his 50s. My sister was tough. She died in her early 70s. There are no guarantees that you're not going to walk out, have a heart attack and be dead before you hit the floor. There are no guarantees, believe me. That's why they talk about live this day as if it's the last day in your life. When you say goodbye to someone as they walk out the door, better understand that you may never see them again. And that doesn't have anything to do with age. So, let's get back to the nuts and bolts of getting along with someone who is a different age to you. If you're the lady of the marriage union, then you will have certain challenges. If the man is older and is a once handsome man, you will have to make certain allowances. Now, does your husband really think that you don't walk out, stand in the elevator next to one hell of a hot guy, and think, what if? What if? No, he doesn't. He knows that that happens. And this is something that Beth and I said right up front, that we... Now, it's a fact of life that when Beth goes out, if she goes out on her own, at some point during our trips out, she'll be on her own, or she'll be with me. And she will see guys that are a hell of a lot more handsome than I am, and probably rich, and probably interested. So, how do we cope with that? How does she cope with the fact that, old fart that I am, I still go out and look and see beautiful women, some of them who might appear to be interested? And how do I cope with that? How did we come to an arrangement where we both of us said, I'm going to see much, much prettier, handsomer, richer, more accomplished guys, women, than you? Well, we said that. We said that and we accepted it. And to give you an insight into what kind of a woman I married, I asked her, well, what will you do if you find that you're not loving me? And she said, I already thought about that. And if I found that I wasn't loving you, I would strip it down to the bottom and start again. Finding things that I love about you, finding all of those things that I thought when we first met, and I would re-establish them. Maybe those are my words, but that's really what she was talking about. And she asked me the same thing. And I said, if I, just by association, just by being close to, just by meeting up with someone in circumstances beyond my control, heavens, I might sit next to someone in church, for all I know. I might sit next to someone at the LTO when I'm renewing my license, or the immigration. We get thrown together with people all the time, right? What would I do? Now, my own way of handling that is that I would simply make sure that I didn't go down that road again. If the person that we're talking about that might have caught my eye is there at 12 o'clock every Tuesday, then 12 o'clock every Tuesday is out of my life. And I would really, in essence, do exactly what Beth said that she has done. And she said exactly what I just said there. She would cut that person out of her life at whatever level he had arrived. I would do the same. Here's a funny thing that you may have encountered. I think it's not peculiar to me. But if you are with someone, this is before you're committed to a marriage or a real one-on-one relationship. If you're out with someone who you're just really friendly with, of the opposite sex, as soon as you walk out, you can walk into a bar, you can walk into a dance place, you can walk into almost anywhere with this person on your arm, and 2 or 3 people will give you the eye and be interested in you. Well, what's that got to do with our keeping our relationship honest and true? It's got a lot to do with it, because that brings in that old thing that my mother said, and that your mother probably said as well: the grass is always greener. And the perception that you get for the effect that you're having on whoever you're looking at is looking at you is based on shifting sands. It's not on a foundation of rock. Because here's a peculiarity of human nature that I've found, and that is that people want something that appears to be wonderful. Now, I think that I have a wonderful life. I think I have a wonderful wife. Is it perfect? No, it's not. But it's damn well near to it. And I treasure it. Now, my very act of treasuring what I have emanates out from me. You remember that example of you throw a very small pebble into a pool? It enters a very, very small amount, but the concentric circles emanate out right to the edge of the pond. Well, your joy in your relationship emanates out to the edge of wherever you are. And people are drawn to it. Because, well, why would they not be drawn to it? They want what you have. So, be prepared for that. And Beth and I have talked about all of these things. Now, on a day-to-day basis, let's look at, on a day-to-day basis, what you have to do as one of the partners in this uneven huge age gap relationship. Well, if you're the older partner, let's not make it sexually biased. If you are the older partner, you may well have seen it all before. You've certainly got a lot more baggage. You've got a lot more experience. You've probably been everywhere. You've probably done everything. How do you keep any enthusiasm, any joy for life that will equal your partner, who is so much younger? You may have seen the Taj Mahal. You may have seen the Grand Canyon. It's one of those things that you have to want the best for your partner. And it's wanting the best for your partner that gives you the joy in life. I have travelled all over the world. Beth has been to perhaps a couple of islands in the Philippines. Do I want to travel again? Not greatly. It's not my passion. But I know that it would be good for Beth, so when the finances come in, yes, we'll travel. But it will be for her, and I will get great joy from that. So looking for joy for your partner is the giving side of the relationship that you have. Will there be a million things which you look at the other person and say, why can't they just change on that? Yes, they will. There will be things which are annoying.
there will be things that you cannot understand. Why, just like you, they didn't want to change that. What do? I think you live with it. And the more that you can stop trying to change the other person, the better you will be, the happier will be. Because once you stop trying to change the other person, you start having to try to fit in with them. Now, a long time ago I did a job for someone. I made a piece of furniture for someone, and in exchange he taught my then young son how to set up a website. And my son went in every week, or every couple of weeks, every couple of days, and he got his education on that particular subject. And in return, I made a piece of furniture for these people. Now, they were very, very particular. The wife was very particular about this. I do not want any wood that has knots in it. Well, to get that, it does actually require quite a bit more on the money to be able to do that, which I was providing. But I was in Home Depot once, and I found this wood that was a kind of a knotty pine and looked great, and I knew that with a rustic look it would look beautiful. So that's what I did. I called them. I said, look, there's some wood here I'd highly recommend, so why don't you go with it, because we've been looking for a while. So he spoke to his wife, and she said, okay. So we went ahead. Now, what I've got to tell you about this is that for all that the wife was extremely picky about what the furniture should be, what it should do, what kind of joints, the kind of wood. It had to be without, as I said, without knots, just all kinds of stuff which people normally never ever bothered with. So here's the little added thing at the end, the footnote. When I went to see this family and I walked in the front door, the man was busy somewhere else, so he said, do come in and sit down. Now, these are two people, like I said, who are extremely fussy about things, except their home, which I was going to make a piece of furniture for. To say that a bomb looked like it had hit, it would be an understatement. I don't know, perhaps a typhoon coming in the south window and going out the north would be more like it. There wasn't a place that you could put your foot. It had toys and stuff everywhere, absolutely everywhere. Now, that woman was so incredibly fussy about the piece that I was making, but didn't give a toss about anything in her house, and yet she insisted that I work to those exacting details, which I did. I made them a piece of furniture which I took extra care on because of what she had said, and they were very, very happy. It was a good exchange. Right. Now, just bringing that example into your exchange with your partner, be him old, be him young, you have to accept the way that he is. Accept the way she is.
Yes, acceptance.
Guess who that is? She who must be obeyed.
Yeah, so long now.
So now she's telling me that I've got to quit. And here she is. And with a smile like that, how can I say no?
Yeah, so...
That's one of the pieces of the recipe, one of the parts, one of the ingredients for having a happier life, is that if you're the older guy, work out whether it's really important. Whatever has to be done, whatever is being decided upon, is it really important? And if it's not, don't sweat the small stuff. You give in much, much more. But then look at this woman's face here.
Yeah, I think that just a matter of respect and understanding, you know, and it works. So again, please, thank you. Please like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel, and thank you for all the support. You know, all the messages about just continue what you're doing. It's a battery for us, you know, for us to charge. So again, please like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel. He has a cold, you know, look.
Can you not do that on my snot nose?
Yeah.
Right, I'm the one. She's given me this cold, right? Which I'm definitely not going to forgive her for. You've given me your cold.
Yeah, so again, thank you and God bless. Good morning. Bye-bye.
And look at this. Look at her.
Yeah.
Her rebonded hair.
Rebonded. Thank you so much. Yeah, I still have a big forehead. You know. Look.
I keep trying to tell her that I love her forehead, but I'm just a husband. She doesn't take any notice of me, does she?
Yeah, bye-bye.
Do you?
Bye-bye. God bless.